Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Talk Show. It is Tuesday. Okay, so I hope, you know what? It's Wednesday. Okay, I'm usually here on Tuesdays, y'all, but it is Wednesday in our world. I had an event that I attended yesterday, so we moved it to today. So hopefully you are doing well. Please let me know where you're streaming in and your name and so forth. So, I don't want to have a conversation by myself. So if you are here, let us know because I would love to hear your thoughts on this conversation that we are going to have for today. And y'all, this is a conversation that's going to be uncomfortable. Some people may think, oh, here we go again with her talking through kind of what I have seen either through my experience or through the clients that I have the privilege to work with. And it's the same theme over and over again. So I'm going to get my notes here so that way we can stay on track because you know how we do. Okay. We can get in and sometimes it could be a little bit too much. And I don't want to, keep you all from going from where you're trying to be today because I know there's a lot going on. All right. So my name is Rochelle Slay or Slay Queen Hemingway. I am the CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I am an executive presence, strategic visibility, and an leadership identity expert. All right. I help under-recognized women leaders close the gap between accomplished and influential. Okay. Because I've seen too many highly capable women leaders doing exceptional work. All right. We are operating in excellence, yet still being overlooked in the rooms where decisions are being made. Again, this is through lived experiences. I am a 30-year United States Air Force veteran, hood, and also a speaker, an author of several books. I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of speaking. And I am hearing the same thing over and over again, where it's not a lack of talent, okay? It's not a lack of results. It's really because accomplishments that they have had over their many years in their business or in their career or their public service role that they are in. I know that accomplishments do not guarantee influence. So, this is where strategy really matters. And I'm a strategist. I love to think about, hey, what do we need to do to position ourselves? So, each week on this show, we're going to talk about executive presence, strategic visibility, and leadership identity because how you show up, how you communicate, and how others respond is how people experience your leadership directly. And that impacts your visibility, your credibility, and of course, your opportunities. So I'm the creator of the Slay Method. The Slay Method, okay, it starts from the word slay. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. And the Slay method or the framework to increase our visibility is strategic identity, leadership presence, aesthetics authority, and your narrative power. When you're able to master these four areas, anything that you're looking to do in the future, maybe you're pivoting from one career to the next, maybe you're launching your business or need to rebrand in the business, or you're stepping into community leadership. I understand when you have a plan and you're very strategic. All right, you show up, okay, but not even only showing up, you glowing up. And that is the transformation, okay? We all understand that transformation requires a little bit of the inner work and the outer work, all right? So I specialize in that. So today we're going to be talking about the visibility gap number 2. Last week we talked about why talented women leaders are being overlooked. See, if you want to go back to that video, you can go to my Slay to Success YouTube channel and look at that video, watch the video so you can stay on track. This is number 2 of 4 in this visibility gap series that I said, hey, we need to talk about this a little bit more. All right. So Let's talk about why hard work alone is no longer enough for women leaders. Um, we're taught and been conditioned for a very long time, and I have seen the patterns of this dangerous leadership belief. If I just work hard enough, someone will notice. They're going to tap me on the shoulder. They're going to be like, "Oh my goodness, we are seeing you're working 12, 14 hours a day. You're taking care of everything and anything." And I'll tell you right now, you're going to be stressed out, burnt out, and you're going to be looking a hot mess. I have seen this for myself many times for women leaders. All right. Because if you're trying to compete in a male dominated environment, which I lived for 30 years, all right, and you're trying to prove your worth, you can become addicted to, let me just work hard. Okay. I got to work 10 times harder. All right. Now, I'm not saying that you're not working, but when you're working yourself just completely like going home and just crashing and don't have anything else to give. And you all know, as women leaders, we have other responsibilities. So you may have a family, a partner, a spouse, um, maybe even a caregiver for your parents or loved ones. There's so many things that we as women do, okay, to make this world go round and round and round. But we need to be smarter about our energy level. All right. And I know for a long time, this dangerous belief that you work hard and it'll pay off. I know that that has been the strategy that has worked for some people and for some generations, because hard work, all right, it got you promoted, it built that credibility, it built that trust that you were looking for and made you dependable because, when you show it up every day, all day and giving it in, all right, then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, like we're going to bring her in. All right. We want her to come over here and to do that. All right. And I'm going to tell you, we are no longer operating in leadership environments where competence alone creates influence. I'm talking about influence. All right. This word, okay, it can change the trajectory of what you're doing right now. If you can gain influence in the business career or industry or public service role, all the things, they don't seem so much harder. All right. You get your message across. People can relate. They start to resonate. They start to learn about who you are. And we now are discovering something deeply frustrating because I'm working with clients that, they tell me um, they're the most capable person in the room. But for whatever reason, they are still they're still not the most visible. They're in the background. I had a woman tell me, y'all, that what they do is sit on the back side of the room, right? And they don't say anything in the meetings. All they doing is taking notes. And someone saw them taking notes and said, "Oh, let me read your notes." And ended up reading the notes. And then all of a sudden, they became the note taker. Okay, this is a highly accomplished woman, became the note taker when in reality, she needed to be running the meeting. And I was like, why? Why did you make that decision to say yes to that? Oh, I thought that was going to get me, like the exposure that I needed. And I'm like, yeah, well, that it turned into something else that they weren't looking for. And it really pushed them back into being invisible. And they felt that. So we want to be influential. We want to be remembered. We want to be selected. And so let's go a little bit deeper into this. All right. We're talking about the uncomfortable reality that hard work without strategic visibility often creates professional invisibility. Okay. Again, hard work without strategic visibility often creates professional invisibility. And I really need you to hear this very clearly. Being valuable and being visible are not the same thing. It's not, y'all. All right. So let's just talk about, 5 different areas or related content to this. The workplace as we know it, and I retired in 2021 from the Air Force. And at that time, I was serving in the highest enlisted rank in the highest enlisted position on a military installation. And the workplace reward system was shifting. Okay. It had been shifting for quite some time. And some people got on board and some people didn't. And I saw that organizations were overloaded with high performers. I mean, I could run a whole list of people that I'm like, oh my goodness, they are slaying all the things. All right. And I had a list of my top leaders on the base. And everyone was looking busy. Everyone was multitasking. Everyone was producing. And the differentiator that I had to do, because I'm like, all these are people are operating at the same level, um, was who was being perceived as influential. Okay. And who communicated authority, who can lead beyond the task itself, who has executive presence, who can shape conversations instead of only completing assignments. Okay. Those were the questions that I started to ask as the differentiators. And it really got me to thinking about what that could look like if women leaders stopped working so hard to down to the bone and start thinking about those questions. Again, the differentiators: who is being perceived as influential? Who communicates authority? Who can lead beyond the task list that you get every single day? Who has executive presence? And who shapes conversations beyond completing assignments? So I really want you to think about that and where you're at. And if you are striving to get to those questions that I just asked, this is what gets attention now. All right. I created platforms to get attention. All right. Not just about what I'm doing. All right. But what my other women leaders in my community are doing as well. All right. And creating meaningful impact and connections with people. A lot of people misunderstand women veterans as a whole. Okay. Veterans. Okay. But really, women veterans. Right. And so, how was I going to be able to show that we are not struggling and in despair like some people think that we are? That is the narrative that has been put out there for too long. So we are no longer there, okay? We were conditioned to become exceptional workers, and that's okay. And we were not being conditioned to be visible leaders. I know this. I had to figure it out. All right. As I was progressing in my career, my first opportunity really to get a taste of visible leadership was when I became a first sergeant. And the first sergeant is, taking care of all these individuals and making sure they're mission ready, meaning their health, their wealth, their family, their all the things that are not in the technical space, which was more on the personal side. I was communicating not only to them, but to the leaders. And that's when I started to realize that my presence need to be refined. All right. I needed to make sure that was accurate and I had information that they needed to make the right decisions. All right. So I was in the spotlight like almost overnight. I was in a fishbowl. And I did that for well over 20 years. You know, for each role that I was in, the platform was bigger, The visibility was more, it was just a lot. It was in on the extreme side. So we have to be very strategic. All right. We have to be very intentional about our positioning. So the next area, if you will, I want to speak through is hard work can make you very invisible. Okay. Because that's all you're focusing on is the work at itself. I had seen, listen, y'all, I have too many examples, but this one that comes to mind, she was a chief master sergeant, which is, again, if you're not familiar with the military and specifically with the Air Force, it is the highest enlisted grade that you can hold. And many times it's anywhere between, the average, because there's some speeders, right? There's some that make chief very early in their career, but mostly it's between 20 years and 25 years, right? Is when most people um, get promoted to this rank. The woman that I want to speak to was at 25 years. And at the time, I was working in a leadership role in a medical group. My background is medical, and they were working as well for a different squadron. So we all had different squadrons and, different amount of people that we were responsible for. And she never fully opened up her door every single day. She cracked her door. And even she had a sign, okay, that she would put on her door. And it's something to the effect that, um, come back in about an hour. All right. Uh, Please be quiet. I'm working in here. It was something to that effect. And it was such a turnoff. Okay. It was such a turnoff. And it was very disappointing for me to see because what she was working on when I interacted with her were spreadsheets, okay, task list, answering emails, all right. She had her head down from the time that she walked in the door to the time that she left for the day. And usually I would leave like about, 5 o'clock. Time, duty day was 4:30. And I would leave about 5 o'clock, just kind of tying up loose ends. I had to go get our son, from the daycare center. And so, you know, she would be there. Sometimes she would say till 8 o'clock at night. And she would do it over and over again. And it was trapping her. This hard work that she was talking about, it was trapping her. She became the fixer. She became the rescuer. She became the dependable one. She became the one that cleaned up everything. That they were giving her all of these, tedious workload. And she's a chief. Chiefs act in the capacity of being influencers. She needed to have boots on the ground, walking around, checking on folks, giving people advice, directing and guiding. She didn't do all that. All right. And it was, again, it was very disappointing and it was a dangerous place for her to live professionally, but because people were starting to value her output instead of her vision. And her contribution was, dismissed. And many people, especially women leaders, we stay stuck there for years. 4 years. And I learned, okay, how to transition from being a producer, because again, when you are climbing up the ladder, all right, in your career, we'll just talk specifically in your career, you are a producer. And I had to learn to be a positioned leader. And that transition required visibility. All right. And not just visibility, but being very strategic on where I was going and how I was operating, what I was talking about, even down to what does my presence look like, my outer presence, my energy. It had to lay a certain way or had to present a certain way because people are judging from the second that you walk into the building. People would notice when I was walking in the building. Oh, I saw you walking into work. I'm like, am I being stalked? Well, kind of. All right, because they want to know what you're all about, and you have to have, alignment between your expertise, your communication, your image, your confidence, your authority, and your leadership identity. And some of us are overworking ourselves because we are hiding. Okay, we are hiding from the spotlight. Okay, because again, I have worked with and now as a entrepreneur, and there are times where people are telling me they don't like to go on live. They don't like to be called out to come on stage. They don't like when people want to know what they're thinking. All right, they avoid it at all cost. It's a skill. Okay, it's a skill that was not developed, and now people are getting left behind, and they're becoming irrelevant. And then they wonder, and I'm like, you're working too hard. All right, let's work on your visibility. So people who are hiding, they're staying buried, okay, in the everyday minutiae, and that is protecting them, so they think, from exposure. If I stay busy enough, then I never have to really speak up. And I'm not talking about just speaking up. I'm like speaking up boldly, all right, advocating for yourself, leading publicly, increasing your visibility, owning your expertise, and taking up space. And this work that we're talking about becomes safer than visibility. And many accomplished women have normalized exhaustion while avoiding influence. You've normalized exhaustion. Okay. So, this woman that I was speaking about was stressed, very emotional. Okay. Her emotional intelligence was very low. We go in meetings, and if there was something that she missed or she didn't do, or she started getting questioned by the commander, which is the commander is the one that runs the entire medical group at that time, she would just crumble. Okay. And this is in the military, y'all, where we have been conditioned to hold up, and make sure that we um, can speak to what we have done, right? They teach us, they kind of like give us they develop us in such a way where we have to speak up. She couldn't even do that. And she would be crying and carrying on. And I'm like, what is happening here? Okay. So listen, stop hiding. Okay. I'm just going to say, stop hiding. Stop pulling yourself back. All right. And saying, that's not for me, or I don't want to do that. I don't think that I'm a good speaker. I don't think that, I can organize my thoughts very well. I'm telling you right now, this is all self doubt. This is imposter syndrome, and it sneaks up on us all the time. I'll tell me, it sneaks up on me too. And I have to work these things out. This is why. Okay, so Ooh, I said I got to slow down here, y'all. When I talk about hard work alone, all right, let me just bring this back to my workouts. So many of you know that I work out every day. Some days are harder than others. Like today, okay, it was a high intensity on the spin bike. And again, this is part of the leadership presence. All right. I know when I'm speaking and I'm on stages, or I am on a panel, or, going to an event, that, for me, I need to feel as confident as I possibly can. And for me, I have to feel confident in my body. And one of the ways that I do that is by working out, right? But I know just because I put in 45 minutes of hard work on a spin bike doesn't mean that I can go into the kitchen and start eating and out eating my workout. Okay. It's not enough. Hard work on the bike is not enough. I also have to make sure that I'm eating right. I also need to make sure that I'm getting rest, getting the right proper nutrients, water, drinking water, replacing my fluids, right? making sure that I'm stretching. These things are all part of the process. So I don't just walk into a space feeling and looking my age. All right. And I know some of us are worn out because of this hard work that we putting in, but we didn't put the proper parameters around the hard work. All right. So I just wanted to share that. That just kind of popped in my head. And I was like, oh, wait, I got something. I gotta hold on to that. Okay. And listen, visibility is not vanity. I heard it all before. They're like, I don't want to dress up in a costume. And I I I am still wrestling with that. I'm still wrestling. I'm like, if you think that you're dressing in a costume, then that is not for you. Okay. If you think that you've got to, dress like I'm dressing, then you really haven't found yourself. I am operating at the highest level of my own version, the highest level. And where I am going is how I'm presenting. It is not vanity. When you're presenting an image that is in alignment with where you're trying to go, you will know. Okay. You will figure this out and it won't feel like this is a hard route for you. Okay. It is not vanity when you are being visible. It is you finally saying to yourself, I'm showing up. Okay. This is grown women business, right? All the one I'm talking about is grown women business. When you are at a certain point and you are experienced, you have the expertise, you have the skill set, and so forth and so on, and then you continue to say, well, I'm not going to put myself out there. You are not showing up for the others who have been waiting for you. Okay. They are waiting for you to show up because then you're going to give them permission to show up too. And that's what I've been doing, especially for my women veterans. All right. We have a tendency to hold back because we think we're going to be too much, because sometimes that's in those spaces that we've been in. That's what they have told us. And that's no longer where we're at, especially when you're on the other side. Listen, I was at an event yesterday too. And I was sitting on this amazing, sitting in the audience for this amazing panel. And I think the topic that we're talking about is your look, your image, your impact, right? And they had stylists and image consultants that were sitting on this panel. And we were, talking through how to, really show up. And I mean, the queens were queening. Okay. And I was like, yes, yes, because, it's all in the lane that I'm speaking to too. And one of the women said, if you are looking like you are struggling, you are not offering hope. Okay. Because what we do on stages is we're offering the other side of what people see. Okay. Of, I need to get out of where I'm at. And this person is showing up and is showing me the hope that I was looking for. And when you downplay, minimize, or even don't even think about how you're showing up, you're doing everyone a disservice. And I'll just say that boldly because I've seen it. I still continue to see it. Who we got going on here? Oh, hey Corey, how you doing? My cousin Corey, he said, just want to check in, continue to be strong, blessing to others. Absolutely, you know how we do. King family in the building. Thank you so much, cuz, for showing up. So, and someone said true. Okay. So yeah, we're looking for hope when we see you on a stage or a panel or a platform, either online or in person. We are looking for hope. I know that's what I'm always looking for. And so when you are looking like you are struggling yourself and you haven't figured out what your identity is, you haven't figured out your presence, you haven't figured out kind of how you're going to share the story, what story you're going to share. You're just all over the place. Okay. Then I already know that you don't have a solid visibility strategy. I already know. All right. So I just want to make sure that we're not building things around just being useful. We are building things, okay, so that others can see that next level of influence, that authority, that leadership, and the opportunities we say we want. And the world is going to be filled with talented people all day, every day, till the end of time. But many are being overlooked because they never learned how to position their presence with the same intentionality they have applied to their performance. And so I want us not to be that. And that's not going to be our story. Not here in Slay Nation. Not here in Slay Nation. So this has really been the Visibility Gap series number 2. All right. Number 3 is on board next week. You don't want to miss out on that conversation. And I know this is going to be a little bit, kind of like stepping on toes or kind of evaluating ourselves. But every now and again, we need to do that. So if you think this has really resonate, share it with someone, a woman leader who needs this message. All right. And if you are looking to close this gap between accomplishment and influence, go to www.slaytosuccess.com and you can actually subscribe to my email list. And I'm, sending out all the things about, leadership insights, personal branding, executive presence, speaking. I'm sharing, so that way you can stay above, right? And then I have like a whole lot of other things. If you want to just go into Slay to Success, here's the QR scan code here. You can go all deep into Slay to Success and see the books, see the website, see the offers, even book a call with me, because I think some of us need to have a reality check of where we're at, because we want more and then we just need to change and shift a little bit, right? Someone else said, I tell managers this all the time. And I think what they're speaking to is about, the strategy, and you're the leader, you're in charge, and you're the one who's, getting people rallied up, but you looking a mess. I'll just say that. You're just looking a mess and looking like you're not ready. You're looking like you just showed up, like things aren't really happening the way that they should, because you haven't really invested in managing. And this is an investment. All of us should be investing in something. All right. So I just wanted to leave us with that. And then we'll be back here on Sunday night, perhaps. All right. Look for the message to come out, because I know it's Memorial Day weekend and there's a lot of moving parts, especially here in the Hemingway household. So I may or may not have that episode. If so, if not, I will be back on next Tuesday or Tuesday. All right, for another episode of the Visibility Gap series. And then again on Sunday night, the following Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So I want to thank everyone who was here, who came up live today. So Corey, and then I had a LinkedIn user. I'm not quite sure who you were. It doesn't show up on my side, but I just thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. Subscribe to the email list. You can also subscribe to the Slay to Success YouTube channel. And most importantly, y'all, keep on slaying. Oh, wait. We can't close out until I have this one step doing the work, but not managing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and it is almost like, why are you there? Okay. Because you have to understand what the role calls for and what people are looking for. And they need you to show up. It's me. I don't know who's me. It doesn't come up on my end, Queen, or whoever. All right. Oh, Shalina. Hey, Queen. I was like, who's this? Thank you so much for being here live with me this morning and adding some value to the conversation. Okay, y'all, I'm out. It's over the half hour. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.